Okay, I'm going to show you how to put together the new facing lining. I want to talk about a couple of things first. I forgot to put interfacing on this. You're going to need a lightweight stabilizer, fusible. All I have is a heavyweight that I use in the brim of the caps, the free pattern on my site, and it doesn't work very well, but this is all I have, so that's what I'm going to use to show you. You need it on the 2-inch piece that will be the facing for the right side. Right now we're going to talk about the left side. This is the left. My interfacing doesn't want to stick. Here's the left front side, left front facing, and the facing lining. And it is mirrored so that it is, when you have the right sides together, you have a cute little print on the inside, or whatever you want. Okay. This is a thinner French terry, so you need a wider piece of interfacing here, especially for a zipper. The zipper attaches right here. The right side comes across and they zip right there. The first one that I made, I didn't put very much interfacing. I just put enough for the zipper. Well, this thinner fabric, the whole time I'm trying to zip it up, is getting caught in the zipper. Move that aside. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the hood, or the collar. I didn't cut out a collar, but we have the hood. When I cut out my fabric, I laid all of my fabric with the print side up, or the right side up. And all my pattern pieces had the print side up when I cut them. So when I cut my main hood, the print side was up on my pattern pieces. And when I cut the lining, I flipped the pattern pieces over so that I would have mirror images of my hood. Be careful that you don't flip your main fabric and end up with that as your lining. The pattern is designed to zip or button on the left. Right goes over the left. If you make it with it flipped, then you need to make sure that you also flip the hood or the collar. Your button loops are supposed to be elastic cording. I have also used hair bands, the covered hair bands, but I am not at home where I have all of that stuff. I'm in my big she shed and basically too lazy to go home in the cold. So I just use some thread from the serger just to show you how to put it together. Is to sew the facing and the facing lining together at the edge. Just serge or sew straight down this side. Don't do anything here yet. And don't top stitch. Not yet. Okay, now flip them over and iron that seam. Okay, I've ironed it flat. Take your left front side and your left front facing and put them right sides together and pin at the where it turns. Because you want to make sure you do not miss that. This part you're going to sew on your sewing machine, not the serger. Now, take this piece, move this out of the way, and put it right on top. So your left front side is going to be sandwiched between the facing and the lining. Excuse me. Pin it and make sure you pin at the point so you can stop right there. When you get to the point, I don't have the camera pointed on my sewing machine, I have it at the serger. But when you get to the point, you're going to ease around till you get to the notch, which is 1/2 inch. Right now you only have a notch for the lining, but it is 1/2 inch below the point where it turns. So you get to the point and then ease to that 1/2 inch mark. Now, for the fun part, flip it. Okay. So now your shoulder seam is fully enclosed on the inside. Your edge is already finished. And you're ready to install your zipper. So, you're going to flip this back. Do not catch this in this seam. Make sure that this is pulled out of the way. You don't want the lining in the seam. So pin this. and you are gonna want to use your sewing machine again at the very top, because it'll be too easy to end up cutting with the blade. So you can use your serger as you get a little further down if you want, or you could just use your sewing machine for the whole thing, which is probably what I'm gonna do. So iron this. All right, iron your seam toward the outer edge, toward the lining. This lining is going to be hemmed over 1/2 inch. And it is going to completely cover the seam. And you're going to do this properly, not with your fingers like this. Then you can top stitch it from the front. And when you top stitch, you will catch that lining and hem it and finish the inside all at once. And this is all done. Now, set that aside. You need interfacing here. You need a strip of light to medium weight interfacing. This is where your button loops will go. And this will be hemmed on one side. So we're going to pretend that I have that. Put your loops, mark where they go. These are my sad little loops that I cut off because I did it wrong again. So spread them out like they're supposed to go. Place this on top, also with fusible. And so there's your loops. Fold this over and iron. Now again, don't top stitch, don't finish the edge, don't do anything yet. Now we're going to sew the back to the two front pieces. So the shoulders, and I had some clear elastic over here. Okay, clear elastic. Pin it in the seam. Don't put it right up to the edge because the serger chops off a little bit. So, starting at the shoulder point and sewing toward the neck, sew that in place. Now, with the left side, I'm gonna sew that. Also, I'll get there eventually. Okay. Now, side seams. Right sides together. There we go. Armpit to hem. Okay. Now, for the hood. Both hoods, the hood and the lining. Right sides together. I'm going to sew along the curve on both of them. All right. You're going to leave your hood inside out, turn your lining right side out, stick it inside the hood, and then match it up at the top seam. And around the front. The front that's going, this will be around the face. Turn this right side out. And you're gonna have this thing that looks like a weird hat. You push the lining inside the hood. Press this edge and top stitch. And of course, you would want to also use the same color thread in your bobbin. Okay. So, find your center back. Place the center back of your hood. I like to nest my seam. Place the center back of your hood at the center back and pin toward, or the collar. If you're doing a collar, all right. Okay. Ease this curves around. Okay, it looks like I got about the same amount on each side. All right. Okay, now you're gonna sew it. Okay. What's that? Now you can flip this. I caught one of my poor little ugly loops. I like to use a chopstick for this. So get that point out nice and sharp and iron that. And now you have this edge finished. Iron this seam allowance down toward the body. All right. Here's the magic. You get to completely cover this, and you can cut off some of this if you don't want it to show. And stitch that down. And then you sew your buttons on. And for this, this is double fold. I'm trying to work this out in my brain. Okay. All right. Hem the seam allowance. Hem the bias tape. All right. You've hemmed your bias tape. Now you're going to place the fold of the bias tape right on that line, the stitch line. And your bias tape is going to be narrower than this. This one is way too wide for this. But I'm going to pin it right in that. So that the fold is on the line. And I don't have a big enough piece to go all the way around, so I'm just going to go a little bit in here just to show you. You would hem both ends. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my machine and sew. All right. So now you'll fold this in. Make sure you tuck that little bit in there. My hem didn't stay. There we go. And now you just top stitch this down right along the top. Again, narrow bias tape. When you get to the end, you don't need to go all the way to the edge because this edge is already finished. You just need to stop right at the hem. And this would be hemmed. And so you would have bias tape. So it would be finished on both ends. And that's how it would go together. Then you would do the sleeves and the hem and show it off.